We have about 6 programs that are series. Those include our residency and scholarship program. Our flagship and longest standing education program is the Reach Out and Dance program. The Reach Out and Dance, also known, we call it ROAD, an acronym ROAD, has 2 components, and one is a residency program that is 12 to 24 weeks for specific grade levels, 3rd and 4th grade. And we cross state lines from Kansas, Missouri to do this program in schools for 3rd and 4th graders. And the residency program is either 12 weeks long or 24 weeks long, depending how long the schools would like it in their schools. Teaching artists and musicians, pianists go out to the schools, and so they have live music in their gyms for the residency with a musician and a pianist. So I'll talk a little bit about that program later, but I want to start sharing my screen so you can see from our website the kinds of things that we offer and how many we're impacting and just what we're doing overall at Kansas City in this area. So this is our impact page on our home site for the community engagement page. And we have a mission statement and a vision statement for our organization, the Kansas City Ballet as a whole. But then we also have within my department a mission statement, and that reads to create awareness, appreciation, and to engage learners of all ages in a deeper understanding and connection to dance. So we, the teaching artists, musicians, the accompanists, everybody that works in my department truly follows this mission along with the broader mission of Kansas City Ballet. I always have on the website each season a community calendar as a sidebar here that you see with upcoming dates. And as you can see, tomorrow evening, we're having a KCB Dancer Chat around our New Moves performance series. So I'll talk about a little bit about that later, but these are things coming up in March for us and some things in April and May that we like to have out on our community calendar so that our teachers and our partners and people in the community can see what we're doing. Kansas City Ballet has really had a community engagement and education department since really the 1990s, I'm going to say. The impact when I came, we had pretty much just 2 programs. We had a student matinee program that were performances for schools, teachers and students to attend at discounted rates, to the Kaufman Performing Arts Center and to our Black Box Studio Theater at Kansas City Ballet. And then we had the Reach Out and Dance residency program, and that was really all that was here when I came in 2016. So the impact of who we're reaching now has opened up because we are doing and have had many different programs. So we just recently received, as you can see here, Kansas City Ballet National Endowment for the Arts Award for the Rhodes Scholarship Program. This is a picture of some of our Rhodes Scholars. We call them Rhodes Scholars at the KC Ballet. We have level 1, level 2, and level 3 Rhodes Scholars. So this is a 3-year scholarship program for those community children that are in our residencies, that after our 12-week residencies are over, we identify children that are really very interested in dance and want to continue and love movement and have some natural potential for movement. So we choose them and select them, invite them. They can choose not to come and take the scholarship, or they can choose to come and take the scholarship. So we can offer up to 112 scholarships each year to usually 16 schools that are in our residency program. And those 16 schools would get a 12-week residency in their schools also free at no charge. So we're also scholarshiping the schools of residency as well as students in the program that we identify at the end of the residency for scholarships to come to Kansas City Ballet. In terms of our programs, we'll just start here. So our student matinees probably, I would say, really impact most numbers of all of our programs. We're looking at 6,000 people each season with 3 different student matinees that we offer. We offer Nutcracker student matinee, a spring student matinee. This year it was Cinderella. And then we offer also, the next series we'll have is New Moves at the end of March. And that is for middle school and high school students. All of our student matinees are for K through 12, but particularly Nutcracker and Cinderella are more for the elementary and middle-aged students. And then the middle and high school and college students usually come to our New Moves Contemporary Ballet Program student matinee that is held at the Black Box Theater at the Kansas City Ballet Building. So those really impact many groups of people, as well as teachers. Those are $12 seats. And I can tell you, teachers and schools are usually very happy about the $12 because for the $12 for Nutcracker and our big ballets like Nutcracker and Cinderella, they are getting a $12 seat for everybody where they can hear the full symphony orchestra playing live for those performances and the full performance of those ballets. So that's really a great deal for the schools, and they really appreciate having the symphony play live and not have recorded music for those student matinees, as well as being able to see the whole ballet and not just excerpts. So we're very proud of those student matinees. The next, I can show you just what the New Moves is looking like. This is our page after you click on there that shows your upcoming New Moves 2023 student matinee. Order forms are on this page that teachers click on and fill out electronically and send back to us. And of course, our student matinees are usually 10:30 a.m. at the Kauffman Center and 11 a.m. at our Black Box Studio Theater. So that's what our page pretty much looks like in terms of teachers and students going to that page to reserve seats. Then after our student matinees, we have our lecture demonstrations. And our lecture demonstrations, as it reads here, is really just a really interactive lecture demonstration, offers a range of our classic and contemporary ballets. And these are excerpted ballets in a 45-minute program with our KC Ballet's second company dancers. And these are our dancers that go out into the community and are ambassadors for the organization. They perform at various community venues along with performing in schools. And they're narrated by the dancers and also myself and the second company manager, Christopher Rude. So we go out with the dancers, but the dancers do most of the narration. There's about 6 or 7 excerpts on this program to give a flavor of what the ballets are like from both contemporary and classic works. And there's an interactive piece with the students coming up that we select from the audience who are interested in coming up and working as dancers within the LECDEM with the dancers that become choreographers and create movement on them so that students can feel and see in that lecture demonstration what it's like to work with a choreographer. Then we also have a Q&A at the end of those LECDEMs. And our LECDEM program is called Studio to Stage, because it's really about showing how dancers go from working and practicing and rehearsing in the studio to the completion of the performance on the stage. So it's that's a great LECDEM that goes into schools, and we travel everywhere to do that. The next program I want to go to is really our dance in schools. And this is our residency programs. This is the Reach Out and Dance 12 to 24 week in-school dance residency program. For elementary students, 3rd to 4th graders, this is geared to. We have 3 teaching artists that work in our department, and we have about 6 or 7 pianists that go out with these residencies to play the classes. And so I'll just open this page so you can see what this really entails. We have a video here. We celebrated 21 years, but we're now in our 23rd year for the Reach Out and Dance Residency Program. It started in 2000, this program, and so it's been going on for 23 years, which is our longest and flagship program in the Community Engagement Education Department. And the classroom teachers always do surveys. The students do surveys after these programs end, their sessions end. And here's a teacher that said she loves how Road touches on many different subjects because this is an arts and integration residency. This is an interdisciplinary residency. We're using, the students are working with us not only on creative movement and dance in these residencies, but also we have a visual art component where the students have a art contest, and their art contest with all our residency schools takes place at the end of the 12-week session. and the end of the full year 24-week session with those schools. So we have 2 different art contests. The art contest is where the students in the residencies are able to go back into their art classrooms with their art teachers or into their classroom teacher's classroom and draw what their impressions are of the Reach Out and Dance program theme. Each year we have a theme with our residencies. One year it was Moving and Improving, and that includes science standards and math standards and social studies standards. We've had one theme, the ABCs of dance, which focused on English, vocabulary, language, arts. And so they learned the terminology that goes along with the ballet and with other dance forms. And so that's why we call it the ABCs of dance. So we have different themes each year in terms of each season for our residency schools. And that's where the math, social studies, science, and dance terms and teamwork come in. Then we also, and these are our teaching artists, you can see the 3 here, and then our accompanists from the Kansas City Ballet School, they come out and play for the road program. I won't, unless you really want me to later on, show you a little portion of our video, but if I go to this page, you can see that there are quotes and pictures about the Dance in Schools residency program with live music over the years. So we just give a little history. We give a little bit of information about who our school partners are each year. So we list them. And right now, these are our school partners, about 10, with under select parochial charter and private schools. There are about 3 schools under each of those headers. So this is a little bit of some of the photos from some of our residencies. Dr. Mark Goodell, who is a superintendent who has left us just this past summer. He was the superintendent of KC Public Schools. He made a quote here, which is really a great quote to get from our teachers and superintendents that are partners with us with our program with Road. So I loved his quote. We simply believe that this program has given our kids exposure to a world that would otherwise not be readily accessible to many of them, simply off of the sheer fact that they live in income-sensitive situations. So he gave us that quote. Then we also work with the superintendent of schools in Turner Unified School District in Kansas. And Dr. Jason Vandoy, who's superintendent there, gave us this quote: "The Road program doesn't just teach kids dance and music. In math specifically, kids learn about adding, subtracting, fractions. In science, concepts like acceleration, force, and friction. And then we also see that it teaches our kids a sense of perseverance." And then one of our classroom teachers in Overland Park Elementary said that Road builds student confidence while also challenging them with new skills, enhances vocabulary development, geography, and language. So these are just some of the history behind. I wanted to also show, because we have musicians on tonight, that this is one of our Road accompanists, Roger Wilder. He's an incredibly talented and well-known jazz pianist in town here at Kansas City. And he has been playing the Road program a long time. So his quote was, "I started accompanying Road in 2010. It's been a pleasure working with such great teaching artists and hundreds of great kids. The kids really enjoy witnessing music being created live, which many of them have rarely or never seen in person before through a school residency with dance in a class setting." And then, yeah, these are just some other quotes that we have here. One of our teaching artists wrote, she's a former Road residency teaching artist. She wrote, "I began as a Road teaching artist because the program merged the 2 things she loved most, teaching and dance. Working with a diverse group of students from various backgrounds helped shape my perspectives as I moved into other work in the Kansas City Ballet organization. And those experiences still inspire me every day. I feel honored to say that it was the first job I had in my career at Kansas City Ballet." And Jessica, who wrote this, is now the Kansas City Ballet School Administrator. So that's just some of the information in terms of our Reach and Dance residency program. The residencies, we have free residencies that we offer, and we also have schools that pay for their residencies each year. So we offer both. from the Rhodes Residency Program, we choose students from those residencies to go into our Rhodes Scholarship Program. And so these are some pictures of our scholars. You can just read here really quickly. We initiated and created this program in September 2017. So this is about a 6-year-old program now. It was initiated as a partnership with 2 school districts, Kansas City Public Schools in Missouri and the TUSD Turner Unified School 202 district in Kansas, to bring free 12-week dance residency programs to their schools. And we usually work with 12 KCPS schools and 4 of they only have 4 elementary schools in Turner. So we work with all of their elementary schools in Turner and 12 of the elementary schools in KCPS. So 16 schools total. All 3rd grade students get this free residency in these 16 elementary schools. And then each January, we pick up to 112 students from these 16 schools and invite them to study dance and scholarships during the school day at the Todd Bolinder Center, Kansas City Ballet's building. And they're during the school day, which is the partnership, which is very unique around the country, really, because the Kansas City schools and districts that we partner with, they provide the buses for the children to come out of school for 90 minutes each day to the Kansas City Ballet building and take 90 minutes of dance classes. They get 1 class in ballet for 45 minutes and 1 class in another dance form. It's either usually jazz or modern dance or African dance or another world dance form. And that's really so they can discover whether they want to continue in the 3-year scholarship program, and they really are interested in dance inside of a studio setting and outside of the classroom setting. So this is a little bit about that program. They receive free tuition for 3 years. They receive leotards, tights. The boys receive shirts and shorts, and all the girls and boys receive ballet slippers, and the boys receive socks along with their ballet slippers. So this has been, we have a great video on that also. If you'd like to see it at some point, it's right on our kcballet.org website. One parent said this program has allowed my daughter to dream to come true. She always wanted to dance and now gets a chance to do it. A lot of our families in this program, this gives you some facts of how to become a Rhodes Scholar and how many students participate each year. Our Rhodes Scholars also get to audition and try out for the Kansas City Ballet professional productions like the Nutcracker. So we have had our Rhodes Scholars on stage at the Kaufman Center in productions such as Nutcracker, Swan Lake, and just recently Cinderella. And this is a really engagement piece for our full community. Their teachers, their principals, their superintendents, their family members, their churches. I mean, everybody that's attached to each of these children come out to see them perform in these productions with the professional dancers, and along with their own performances that they have at the end of their sessions called the Rhodes Scholars Showcase each season. So we really do engage a full community with this program, and it's been a real boon for the Kansas City Ballet School because we're bringing students in from very diverse economic backgrounds and diverse ethnic and racial backgrounds into the Kansas City Ballet School with this scholarship program. So, and after the 3 years, they can continue on financial aid scholarships in Kansas City Ballet School. So this is really helping to diversify our school and is really adding to the peer-to-peer and mentorship that goes on with our dancers and our young students that come from the community residencies. We have great road sponsors. The Dance Shop in Gladstone, Missouri provides all of the dance wear as in-kind donation to our program. And our Bar KC, our Kansas City Ballet Young Professionals Group, here at the ballet, they do an annual fundraiser called the Black and White Soiree that benefits the Rhodes Scholarship Residency Schools, the free residency schools, along with the scholarship program. And then we, of course, we have other sponsors that also give from national to regional to local sponsors. So that's a huge program, the residency and the Rhodes Scholarship program for us. Let me go back to, just lost it. In terms of, so this is 3rd, 4th. I'll go to our pre-K. through second or third grade programs. And those are really our workshops. So our workshops are for our youngest students. And these are 45-minute virtual workshops or in-person workshops. They're specifically designed for early elementary and pre-K age children, ages 2 through 7. They focus on classic stories from the ballet and really enhance literacy through these workshops. Our teaching artists bring these ballet stories through creative movement exercises, music that go along with the ballet, and a prop and costume show and tell. So it's called Dance a Story, and they really are dancing characters from the story. They learn about the story in a very brief storytelling of the story really quickly with them as part of the workshop. And then they do a creative movement exercise and improvisation around the characters that are found in the story. And then they have a prop costume show and tell of some things that go into the ballet production on the stage as part of the story. So we do these around many different story ballets. We also have a Ballet 101 program where the businesses in our community are interested in hearing behind the scenes from maybe our music conductor, Ramona Pansagrau, about the music and how she puts the music together for the symphony when she conducts all the ballet productions at the Kaufman Center. Or they may want to hear about the development, philanthropy. They want to hear about marketing. So the Ballet 101 is really a behind the scenes for business and corporations to have a workshop around what we do that's tailored to what they want to hear about. And then we have our Dancer for a Day workshops. And those are for all age ranges. Those usually go from about second or third grade all the way up to middle school. And these are community students that are invited to experience what the day in the life of a professional dancer is like. And these come to our KC Ballet Studios to have this Dancer for a Day workshop. It's a half-day workshop, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. They get lunch and the snacks as part of this, but they really do follow the day in the life of a dancer. And they take a class, they warm up at the beginning of their day, then they go into rehearse with a choreographer or one of our teaching artists who serve as ballet masters. And then after they've rehearsed, they get to perform like our professional dancers, and their parents come into the studio and they perform what they have learned. And then they go down to the costume shop and they see what it's like to be fitted for costumes for something they're going to dance in. And so this is really appropriate for all age ranges, but we found that elementary and middle school really love this. So those are our workshops that we offer. And then for adults, so we have programs pre-K all the way up through senior citizens. And our adult programs really encompass our artist conversations. This is, we have 2 programs within our artist conversations, actually 3 now. We have a program called Dance Speaks, and Dance Speaks are panels with our choreographers who are choreographing for the Kansas City Ballet Company. So we have about 6 or 7 performance series each year with the company performing at the Kaufman or in the Black Box Theater. And for each of those performance series, we have choreographers, either guest choreographers or Mr. Devin Carney, our artistic director who's choreographing. They speak with dancers that are involved with their productions in these panels, or sometimes they just speak the choreographers alone and a panel with Mr. Carney moderating as the artistic director who's invited them here to choreograph on the company. And so those dance speaks really talk about the choreographic process, how choreographers work with their music, their costuming, their set design, their lighting design. And so that gives our audiences a behind the scenes look into how choreographers work with our professional company dancers and how they start to create a ballet as professional choreographers and what their intentions are with the work. Our KCB Dancer Chats, of which we're having one tomorrow night, and I can send you the link if you'd like to join us on Facebook Live. This Dancer Chat is on our New Moves Contemporary Ballet Series, opening up at the end of March and performance at the Kansas City Ballet Black Box Theater. 3 dancers from our professional company are on a panel with a guest moderator that we have from a community professional in the greater Kansas City area or other areas, because we could do this in Jefferson City with a guest moderator from there, or we could do this anywhere, Springfield. I love to have guest moderators that are community professionals moderate the chats with our dancers, because this way the dancers can speak about their life experiences as a dancer, their journey coming up in dance, the upcoming production and the roles that they'll be dancing in that upcoming production, with a person that may not have known anything about dance, ballet, or have never been able to have a conversation with our dancers, even though they've sat in the audience at the Kaufman Center. So we've had executive directors from organizations guest moderate. We've had director of marketing from different organizations and public relations moderate. We've had community members that are just interested in the arts and our arts advocates moderate. So yeah, we've had a lot of different people from different organizations. And tomorrow evening's chat will be moderated by Tracy Engel, who is the director of marketing and public relations at the Harriman Jewels series in Kansas City. So she'll be moderating the chat with 3 of our company members. So yeah, that's really what the KCB Dancer Chat's about, to broaden the community's experience of getting to know our dancers informally, an informal chat with a guest moderator. And that really has been very successful for us. It's always held on Facebook Live online, so that we have students that listen to this from our academy and all over other dance studios, as well as teachers, as well as parents, as well as community members. And we've had people all over the country be able to come in on this online chat to ask dancers questions during the chat and to hear about their experiences. So that's been very successful. We initiated that in the COVID era because we were looking for ways to connect our dancers with the community and keep them engaged with our communities. And so that's why I initiated the artist conversations, particularly with the chats online. Dance Speaks was also online then, and then we took it back offline because that's done as an in-person, in-studio panel. Then we have, for also adults, pre-performance talks. And these pre-performance programs reach hundreds also of community members. Our Dance Speaks, Artist Conversations, and Chats reach thousands because they're online, but also our pre-performance programs are in the Kaufman Center Theater a half hour to an hour before the performances start there. Devin Carney, our artistic director, comes and provides information about the ballet that's going to be done on the stage in the next half hour, 45 minutes when the curtain goes up. So they're in their seats in the theater and they hear from Mr. Carney and any other dancers that may not be dancing that night, who may be cast B and C and are off that night and can talk about their roles, or any choreographers that are guest choreographers that will be highlighting their productions on the Kaufman stage that evening. So that has always been also a very popular program. And it's called the Belger Footnote Series. It's called the Footnote Series because it's sponsored by Belger Cartage Services, which is a corporation here. And then finally, we have our tours. And ballet tours are groups of 10 or more that have the opportunity to tour the historic facility that Kansas City Ballet is housed in, and to observe the company at work in a rehearsal. And that's at the Todd Boulder Center for Dance and Creativity, which is the Kansas City Ballet home. And we always provide during those tours information that they can take away with them about upcoming productions. And participants always love visiting our ballet costume shop and seeing costumes that go back all the way to Todd Bollander's era with the 1980s, all the way up to the present day costumes that we use in productions. And yeah, and viewing the shoe shop. We have our dancers have a special room where they can go get their point shoes that are ordered for them each year by the company. And the male dancers in our company have their own ballet slippers that they get ordered. And if they're doing like, I don't know, Johnny Cash ballet, the Johnny Cash music, a Western rodeo kind of ballet, they have their cowboy boots in there. So there's a whole shoe room separate from our costume shop room that holds all of those shoes for the upcoming productions. So that's part of the tour. And that is $5 to $10 a person to tour the building, watch the rehearsal, go to the costume shop, and have a Q&A afterwards. So that really gives you a little sense of all the programs. all of these programs have materials that go along with them. So I'll just kind of hold up and stop sharing for a minute. Some of the materials that go with these programs. For our K through 2 level, pre-K through 2 workshops, ballet workshops, we always hand out something that looks like this. They go with a pantomime sheet of what it means to look at a story ballet that has pantomime in it. How do I say I love you? How do I say thank you with movement and gesture? And so that's something that they get to walk away with, along with coloring pages that identify with the characters in the ballet from the workshop. I do a 30-page online multimedia study guide for all the schools that come to the student matinees. It sounds longer than it actually is because it's online and the teachers get to just pick out what pages they want to use and can pull it up on their white screen in the schools. They don't have to have a big 30-page document. So when I came here, they had the student study resource guide as a hard copy that they were sending out and mailing out to schools and teachers. So we changed it to digital and online so that we could add video of the dancers in rehearsal in it, links, and we could add the music and the audio links that go along with Tchaikovsky or Prokofiev or whatever musician the ballets are going to be utilizing with the scores that the symphony is playing. So the music teachers, the art teachers have loved this. The costumes are involved with this study resource guide. And so this is the one we did for Cinderella. And this is the cover of the resource guide. If teachers want to download this, they can. But there are all kinds of the historical aspects of the Cinderella ballet in here. There are compare and contrast to like the Disney Cinderella with other Cinderella ballets in concert style or in film and media. So we give a whole package for K through 12 activities within this resource guide. And of course, information about the ballet, the choreographers, the dancers, the conductor, the symphony, the musicians, the kind of instruments that are in the symphony. Everything goes into this study and resource guide. We do one for each story ballet, Nutcracker, and for Cinderella. In the winter, it's always Nutcracker study guide. In the spring, it's always another ballet. We've done them for Wizard of Oz, for Peter Pan, and for all different spring ballets that the company has presented. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. I hope it's not too much, but we have so many programs to share with you, and please feel free to ask me any questions. I'm open to any questions you may have now.
Thank you, April, so much. And while people are formulating their questions and getting themselves prepared to unmute, I'll just say thank you for such a comprehensive overview. Even though I was there and you talked to me about some of these things, I learned a lot today too about just different aspects or different, I guess, deeper levels of what Kansas City Ballet is offering. And it makes me excited to know that, yes, it's offering it. A lot of the in-person things are just in the Kansas City region, but then there are several other things that can translate virtually or be experienced across the state, no matter where you are. So for sure, send me that link and we'll help get it out on our social media to whenever you have one of those chats to just help connect people with the tremendous work that's happening there. Does anyone have any questions they would like to pose to April?
Yeah, and I can tell you the virtual programs that can go statewide, that may be helpful. We can do virtually our lecture demonstrations with our second company because we can record those out of our studio. So that is a program we did do during COVID virtually to schools around the state. We haven't got live stream yet at Kansas City Ballet, unfortunately. So we cannot live stream our student matinees from our block box theaters. So we're talking about that, working on that. We can do virtual workshops. So the Dance and Story workshops and all of those workshops we can do virtually, particularly the Dancer for a Day and the Dance and Story. We can do those two workshops virtually.
I'm also really pleased, April, that you have so many funders, so many sponsors that are willing to help underwrite the costs for those schools that are less financially secure. And so I was just asking, I wanted to ask if a school has some resources, can you give us a range about how much it might be for, let's say, the Dance a Story workshop to come in person to their school? How much might it be?
Yeah, our Dance Story workshops are $100 for an organization to bring in our Dance Story workshop. So the first workshop, 45 minutes, is $100. If they want a second or third workshop in the same day, because we usually only can hold in one workshop 30 to 35 students. So if they want more than that, then we can do a second or third workshop in the same day for $75 after that $100 initial fee.
Nice, thank you.
It's
Any
a
other
wonderful-
questions? Lisa?
Oh, yes, it's just a wonderful program, April. It's just so exciting. And, you know, when I see what you're doing, it's just, I'm like, I would just love for, you know, Missouri Dance Organization to be able to help perpetuate your, you know, beyond your scope and throughout the state. So I'd love to just, you know, be able to set up another meeting with you so I don't bore everyone else. You know, just, you know, and just how our organizations can work together to support what you're doing. You know?
No problem. I'd love to meet with you, Lisa. And yeah, that's a very interesting point you bring up, because there is a difference between our dance instructors in our Kansas City Ballet School teaching the studios and our teaching artists that do K through 12 dance integration residencies, arts integration residencies. That is very different.
Good. Do you have a question or a comment you'd like to share?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing today, April. It was very insightful, and I always enjoy getting to learn more about other forms of art. And my question for you, does the KC Ballet ever collaborate with composers around the Kansas City area, or maybe like students from the Conservatory of Music and Dance at UMKC?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because we have a lot of our road pianists have been trained at UMKC Conservatory. But you know what? No. Our musical conductor, Ramona Pantagra, was really over the music department at Kansas City Ballet. And she really identifies the pianists and the musicians that play in our Rhodes Scholarship Program in the Kansas City Ballet School, as well as for our road residencies. And there hasn't been a collaboration in terms of music students from UMKC Conservatory with our programs. No, but we've had collaborations with our productions, the professional productions, with like the string quartet or some other organizations, musical organizations, either a choral group or professional musical organizations, but no, not with the students. Yeah, love to do that.
Spencer,
Lisa.
what a great opportunity for an aspiring composer to, you know, have a commissioned opportunity, even if it was only a 10-minute piece or something that could compose for a story or for a purpose or for a thematic identified thing, and then have it brought to life through dance. Oh, that would be amazing.
And we would love to do that with our RED program, if not with the company. That we've had I've had conversations with artistic director, Mr. Carney, and others, and our colleagues in the organization about having student matinees where a composer would come in to compose special music in a 45-minute student matinee performance, as opposed to having a full productions, the student matinee, and having a theme around that student matinee that's relevant to the students and what they're experiencing in the real world today. And there's where a composer could compose music for that matinee. Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Maggie, I noticed your hand and you've unmuted. What would you like to add?
Hi. Whenever we had visiting dance artists come to our school, we made sure that our physical education teachers participated. Now, this was not and I'm going to be brutally honest about this. They both call themselves coach. And they were not, initially, they were not interested in dance. As in other words, they feared it. And these two gentlemen said, we'll send the kids during PE time, but we're not going to participate. And the principal and I and several other teachers said, you know, Mr. Blank, we really wish you'd be, because you see every kid in this whole school. You're a powerful influence on how the kids view dance, how they view learning, and how they view the culture of the entire school. So they said, okay, we'll give it a try. Well, they loved it. And first of all, there was an immediate connection with the visiting choreographers and the visiting dance artist teachers. And we actually did about 3 dance programs with the physical education teachers, the classroom teachers, and everybody got involved in this. So, and once you kind of remove the fear factor, they said, oh, we had to take one dance class to get certified, and we took that class and we did square dancing. I said, okay, that's great. I'm glad you did square dancing, but let's move beyond that. So,
Oh, that's
good
great.
good
Yeah.
experience.
That's great. We
Yes.
had one theme one year that we actually did Dance Americana was our theme. And we did Virginia reels and square dancing and folk dancing and jazz dance, every dance form from America. And the kids loved it. And the PE teachers loved it. They loved it because it's their curriculum. So, yeah.
Good.
Absolutely. Well, I want to offer anyone else the opportunity to ask any questions of April while you're formulating those last ones. I wanted to just make one other observation. Well, I guess it's 2. One, I loved seeing the cross-curricular aspects of a lot of the work in the programming that you offer, not only across the curriculum in terms of science and math and literacy and those kinds of things, but also interdisciplinary arts, where it's celebrating the music or celebrating the costume design or celebrating the set design aspects of production. So just anytime that we can bring multiple arts together, of course, the Alliance would love that because that's what we're all about. But also those cross-curricular elements are so exciting. And it makes me wonder if with your help, April, I could reach out to some of the teaching artists that are engaged. And if they want to present to the Missouri Alliance for Arts Education, we have another network like this one called the Missouri Arts Integration Network.
Mhm.
And it's focused specifically on taking the tools that are in the artist's toolbox and transferring that knowledge across the curriculum. So I see that as an opportunity for our continued collaboration, just helping celebrate the great things that are happening at KC Ballet.
And let me just thank you, Pels, for that, because I'm sure some of my teaching artists would love to present in our department. I just want to say that road residencies are school residencies that are integrated and interdisciplinary and cross-cultural. They have a curriculum that's set from National Dance Institute, New York, which Jacques D'Amboise from New York City Ballet started many years ago. And we have adapted that curriculum for our road residency program at the schools. So it does have a formulaic template in terms of integrating standards from social studies, English language arts, math, science. We use energy qualities, all these things in terms of creating that lesson plan and that curriculum. But we have improvisation, we have cultural goodbyes. You know, in ballet, we do reverence, but in the residencies, we do cultural goodbyes that give children a sense of the world and global literacy. So our goodbyes are always from different countries around the world. And I want to do a goodbye with you guys today that we use with our Rhodes Scholars and some of our students. That is just a little contemporary goodbye and give them a sense of grounding in the real world. But yeah, our curriculum in Rhode particularly is very interesting, and I think the teaching artists would love to present to the Missouri Arts Integration Alliance around that. Yeah.
Great, April. Any last minute questions before April shares a cultural goodbye with us? Well, hearing none, I will say a farewell from the Alliance. Thanks to everyone for being here today, and I'll turn it over to April. and let her share a final close with us, please.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. And Lisa, I'm going to get in contact with you. I put my email in the chat also. So you can contact me for everybody who wants to contact me, including composers, Spencer. So, yeah. So we can do this seated. Usually the kids are standing in their gyms or in their studio, but we can do this seated. So we always, and I don't usually say this because they know this by the gestures now, but I'll say it for us today. We catch the spirit in our hand. Take the spirit to the body by putting the shoulder. Put that spirit in your heart. Take that spirit around the back. And then we usually step forward. Spirit always leads us forward, but we'll lean in. Spirit is having us lean in together, because spirit never leads us backwards. It always leads us forwards in our work and our life. And then the kids say, we thought, we shared from the heart, we give out. So we thought, we felt, we shared, and we look around, everybody there in the room. We thank ourselves for the work and the conversation. We tap the ground once and thank those who came before us. Our ancestors. We clap 3 times. Hold that clap, that third clap in your hand, and then the kids send that energy, positive energy, out into the world or in their environment where they are. And then if we have a drummer that has played the residency, the kids go down to the ground and they on the floor. Or if there's a pianist, they go to the pianist and face the piano and they said, from the head to the heart, thank you. And so that is my goodbye to you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, April.
Thank you,
everybody,
thank
for coming.
you.
Join us next month. We're going to welcome Missouri Arts Council's Jenny Ryan, who's going to talk about funding resources for schools. Hope to see you then at our next FAME. I think I'm going to get the date, April 4th. I think that's the date. Anyway, bye everybody. Have a good night.